Welcome to the Table for Two edition of the Deliberate Talks podcast, and I'm your host Dakshin Adyantaya, inviting you to a fascinating exploration of breaking through the noise in the world of public relations. And today, we have a guest who's a master at crafting alliances. Joining us today is Sahil Sachdeva, the founder of Level Up PR. Sahil is a serial entrepreneur, building elite personal brands and securing top tier media placements. In our conversation today, we delve into the intricacies of collaboration, uncovering the secrets behind PR successes and profound impact on branding. All this with Sahil right after this quick intro. And we are back. Hello, Sahil. Welcome to the Deliberate Talks podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Dakshin, for having me. So excited to be speaking with you.
Likewise, Sahil. Sahil, before we start this journey of understanding the trade secrets of PR and everything that you
Mhm.
do, I'm going to start the show with an icebreaker question, which I normally do.
Okay.
And to begin with, there is a soft corner for you in your intro, which you have mentioned for singing. And it goes back to asking you, what's your go to karaoke song when celebrating a milestone success in that case?
So I'll tell you what type of songs I used to sing when I was, musician back then, back in like 2019,
Hmm.
2020. So I used to be mostly, singing Bollywood songs. And
Right.
I used to sing a lot of songs of Arijit Singh, Jubin Nautiyal. So one of my opening songs when I used to, open any show, that was Tere Bin Ab Na Lenge Ek Vidam. So that was my favorite song.
Lovely, 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 Sahil. On that note, because you're all set
I would have
now,
I would have
yeah,
loved to sing it for you, but right now I'm like under the weather. I'm suffering from cold and cough, so
yeah.
maybe not now. Maybe in the future on our next show.
I think we can do the karaoke together in that case next time I'm in Chandigarh.
Would love to.
Awesome. Now that we're all set in, let's begin with your love for making the top 1% entrepreneurs into celebrities. When did you see that need and why is it so important and how difficult is this process, Sahil?
When did I feel this need? So talking about my personal journey in PR, I actually you can say came into PR very organically. Okay, because I was a musician and I was used to handling my own PR. I was really good at creating content, posting it on social media, creating strategy around it, pitching my own personal story as a musician to multiple news outlets. So I got a hang of it. Even though I was not the best musician in the market, the best singer, my voice was not the best, I would, to be honest. I was good at marketing. People knew about me that this is a new guy who is entering the industry and he's doing shows here and there. Okay. So I realized that back in 2020, and then I saw a market for that, just beyond music as well. Because
Right.
earlier in the past times, only, like people like artists, celebrities, influencers were the ones who were building their personal brand. But back then I realized that it's not just for people like influencers, it's also for, I would say, anyone who is an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
Because you need to understand that a personal brand is really going to help you stand out, because people are buying it to people, they're not
Correct.
buying products, they're not buying logos, because people are more related to people, right? So that's why I saw a need over there and I entered this industry. Because at that time COVID came, so all my shows actually got cancelled, so I wanted to do something. So initially I helped musicians with building their online presence, and slowly and slowly, as I saw the potential in other industries in helping personal brands, I moved in there and started helping those people too. What
Right.
was the second question I lost?
Like you have covered why, then you saw the need for it, but
Mhm.
would love to understand how difficult is this process, because you meet a lot of entrepreneurs. Firstly,
Mhm.
convincing them to become celebrities online is
Mhm.
also a challenge, right? At the end of the day, that you
Right.
find a lot of people who are not camera friendly, not mic
Mhm.
friendly, or even in that process, not don't want to be out there saying a lot of things about themselves.
Mhm.
How difficult is this process? Firstly, to go to them and pitch, and secondly, to make them understand the importance of it.
Right. Great question, I would say. It's really important these days, I would say. It's definitely difficult, but it's simple, I would say. It's simple but very difficult. All you have to do is, I would say, be authentic, which is again very difficult. A lot of people are trying to, fake it till you make it. Just be authentic, whosoever you are. Just embrace your weaknesses, what values you hold in yourself, what you are good at. So embrace whatever you have. Recently, just say if you have seen recently Praful Bilore, right? He
Yeah,
was being very criticized all over social media. And how he took it, he embraced that all of the hate that he was getting and turned it into a big victory.
right.
Like he again started posting about supporting South Africa, and then they lost the
They
battle,
lost.
right? So very playfully, he did not even hurt his fans. He, like, people who were criticizing, now are happy.
Yeah,
Okay, so he just turned the tables. So it's difficult, of course, but just be authentic, I would say. Be consistent with your presence. And when you're starting out in the PR world, of course, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're not going to be the best. But you have to understand that it is the price that you need to pay for the entry. Any field that you will get into, when I entered into music, when I entered into a tech startup that I had in past, which I failed badly, I have sucked in all the things when I first did those I was did the when I did the first podcast, I was not even at the level that I'm today. When I did my first public speaking gig,
hmm,
I could not even speak for like 60 seconds. Okay. So you need to understand that you will suck at the beginning. Just be consistent. And when you are consistent, you will start actually, getting some results. You will start feeling that, you're getting good at it. And that's how you will build the confidence. Okay.
interesting.
So when
Right.
people, when our clients come to us, we very deliberately, very, just like the name of your show, deliberate talks, right? So you have to be very deliberate with it. So
Yeah.
first, what we do is, we help our clients with more of written form content in which they don't have to do much efforts.
Hmm.
We interview our clients, based on what stories do they have, but why they are the best person to solve the problem that they're solving inside the business. And from that information that we get, we create compelling story angles.
Right. Right.
Once they're more comfortable with the written form of content, then maybe we can help them into getting into podcast where they can be a subject matter expert, and
Yeah.
then slowly introducing them to speaking engagement world where they can be on stages, TEDx, Josh talks,
Yeah.
be on keynote speeches, a media panel discussion, all of that. So it has
Right.
to be a slow process. Just give yourself some time, absorb it, and then eventually you will get comfortable at it. So
Right.
don't expect to be the perfectionist in the first shot.
Hmm. Right, right, and all these examples of creating content that you mentioned resonates with a lot of people trying to make it there. Right now, speaking from a POV of probably a thought leader who's say a 50-year-old and wants to now not be a part of the FOMO, but yet wants to create his content, be in front of, starting to be featured, go to TED Talks, all these things achieved in life, but also has a notion that there's a clutter of thought leadership content already coming from individuals. Everyone's doing a podcast these days.
Right.
Everyone's doing a YouTube show featuring in publications. How do you compel a new narrative when you go to a person like this to stand out from the clutter?
Great question. I think your story is what it will make, all the difference.
Right.
Like, it's of course the same science, the same principles that everyone is talking about. But then what you need to do is you need to bring your own story into it. Like if you are like 50-year-old, of course you have a plethora of experience that you bring to the table, right? So you have to see, how that science or that principle that you want to talk about narrates with your story, how you relate with it.
Yeah.
Because when people, listen to stories, they're more able to relate with it. And you start being seen as more authentic, more genuine, right? So I would say bringing storytelling into your content is really important.
Right. And, in this process of building stories, you also built up a beautiful story of Level Up PR.
Hmm.
And, you're helping brands and individuals achieve that with your form of storytelling. I want to understand, what is that story that helps you constantly come in front of the camera every single day, or,
Hmm.
on a weekly basis, or feature in various other podcasts like these, or even meet some amazing individuals which you do in meetups and other collaborations. What is your story there in terms of just turning up every day?
Right. My story is of someone, who never gave up, was very patient and eventually made it. right? So if I was to start from the beginning, as a child, I was very competitive. I was a go-getter. Whatever I wanted in life, I would just go behind it. At that stage, I was very, you can say, stubborn. Even if I wanted something from my parents, I would just start crying and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then I had learned a lesson, back in class 10th. So I wanted a sport bike at that time. Okay, so me and my father, we had a bet that if I get like more than 85% marks in 10th
Mm-hmm.
class, he
Mm-hmm.
will get me that bike.
Wow.
So I worked really hard during that time and I scored 88% in my boards, and then eventually I got that bike as well. So at that time I learned a lesson that anything that you want to get in life, there's a price that you need to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that price can be anything. Some people think that you need money to make money. Okay, but if you do not have money, you have time. You can put efforts, you can learn skills. That's how you can get better in life.
Yeah.
So during that time I learned that lesson, and after that, I went into engineering. I was not very sure what branch I want to do. I just heard mechanical was an evergreen branch then, so I went into
Right.
mechanical. I also built some satellites with, NASA sponsored competition. I built a
Yeah.
supercar, some robots at my college. So I was really excited, about meeting people, about doing things outside the box. I never used to attend classes.
Yeah.
I also joined multiple societies in my college, of which I was a leader. So I used to lead multiple societies. Yeah, for any, you know, like the contests that are happening, or any college fest that are happening, I used to be at a leadership position.
Right.
So from that, I also gained a lot of leadership skills, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But even after all the hustle that I did from my college, I participated in events, I made multiple projects. I could not land a good paying job,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I failed badly at that time, and my ego was hurt. That even after working so hard, like nothing I could achieve.
Right.
Also, I think back in the mind, I did not even want a job. It was just for my ego that I wanted a job. I
Yeah.
come from a business family, so ever since my childhood, I always wanted to build something of my own only. So that was clear. So
Right.
after that, I came into my own startup. I launched a company which was called Takens.
Mm-hmm.
Takens means that things that are already taken.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the rental platform where you could you know put anything on rent, similar to OLX. So you put things on rent. Other people who want things for short term, they could rent it out from there.
Right.
So I pitched multiple investors. I did a lot of pitching, but I could not raise any funding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that was due to no background in entrepreneurship, no
Right.
prior experience. So nobody wanted to take a bet on me. Okay, so I worked like 1.5 year, and then I had to give up on it because I personally did not have any funds to burn on that specific idea,
Right. Right.
and I did not want to take money from my parents at that time.
Right.
So then I started exploring more. I went into singing. So I explored more. I did some acting gigs as well, starred in some short movies, some music videos.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized my love for music. I used to be like a bathroom singer until then, but then I thought of exploring that as well. So then I went into singing. I performed multiple times for free. Also, I performed on road.
Yeah.
I did wedding gigs, concerts, colleges, school events, everything. And slowly, I started getting some paid gigs too, where I was paid like 3,500, 5,000, 8,000, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
around that.
Right.
So I started making some money as well. And then COVID hit back in 2020. All the gigs got cancelled. So I was
Uh-huh.
back to zero again. So that's how the idea of PR came. Okay. So if there was, I think, one lesson that you could take from my entire story, from not getting a good college placement after working so hard, then failing in my tech startup, not being able to raise anything,
Mm-hmm.
then failing in the music career due to,
Yeah.
unseen situations like COVID.
Right.
From these three failures, and then eventually making it in the PR world, where we now work with top 1% entrepreneurs in the world, like
Mm-hmm.
Robert Kiyosaki,
Mm-hmm.
the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
We have some amazing people from India that we work with, like Finance with Sharan.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of top 1% entrepreneurs that we build their online presence. Okay. So from the moments I feel to, the success that I've had in the last 4 years, I would say the one lesson that anyone could take from my story is my attitude in even every situation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My attitude was very positive, even though I was failing multiple times. Right. But I kept moving forward. I kept analyzing, what's going wrong, what needs to be improved. And I had a trust in my gut that I would
Mhm.
eventually make it in life.
Right.
So you have to be very positive. I think patience is really important during these hard times. So
Right.
I think this is my story that a lot of people relate with, and that's why they invite me to the show and talk more about it, so that
Right.
people who are eventually giving up on for short term and they try something for 6 months doesn't work, so that such people can eventually listen to these stories and have some more patience and maybe take some help from other people and have some guidance so that they don't give up on it easily. Like
Right.
a lot of
Right.
startups I think fail because of lack of patience and lack of guidance. It's more of execution than of idea.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And these collaborations that you were talking about is very
Hmm.
interesting when you speak about Sharon, when you speak about Robert. Can you share specific examples of a challenge that you faced during collaboration and
Hmm.
it did not fly? For example, you speak so well about all the failure stories converting into success. And while
Uh-huh.
you have had your fantastic share of success stories, collaboration is something that everyone, right from building their very first client, and I'm
Hmm.
sure this is a challenge that you must have faced while starting Level Up PR as well,
Hmm.
where you all the clients that you've pitched for haven't really converted at some point of time, right?
Right.
But what is that one collaboration which didn't work out for you and you went back with your ego problems, or in terms of sulking, saying, damn, I should have got this? But and why do you think it did not happen?
Mm-hmm. You've put me into a really deep thought. I'm trying to think, which one did not go well. Hmm. Tough question.
But
Actually, I would say I've been lucky enough, I have got some great clients that I've worked with, and most of the, collaborations that we have did. So what I am, I'll be very honest. Like if I see a potential in something, that's only something I, take on. If
right.
I think that, there's a specific person that I can't really help, I wouldn't even take a chance. I would be really honest with them that this is something that you can expect, but I would never over promise. I
Mm,
always try to under promise to my clients and always over deliver. I
right.
think that has helped me build a lot of reputation in the market for who I am today and what level of PR is as a brand.
Mm,
For the ethics that we have.
right.
So that's why I think we have any clients that we've undertaken, we have always set the right expectations that we are 100% sure that we can deliver on, and we've always delivered on it.
Right. Right.
So I'm really proud of that. And I don't have the right answer to your question, I believe, but I hope that answers the question.
So let's just turn the tables around and say, let's talk about, and I'm sure everyone wants to
Mm.
ask this question every time you're on a podcast. Let's understand about your collaboration with Robert. How did you end up getting that rather? What were the challenges you faced during that time? And what were the possibilities that it could have not landed in your kitty as well? So let's talk about that.
Right. So I'll tell you, I've been building my personal brand for almost 6 years now, ever
Right.
since I was a musician. So I've been posting content since then, and I think that has really helped me to become a thought leader in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, of course, we do a lot of marketing efforts in the US and India. We run a lot of ads, email marketing campaigns, cold outreach on multiple platforms that we do. Okay. But this, specific collaboration with Robert Kiyosaki actually came to me. So we had the producers of this event, Growth Summit, which happened in Mumbai and Goa. They reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they were doing this event, which was pretty big. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're expecting 5,000 plus people that showed up.
Right.
The tickets were as big as very expensive, like 5 to 6 lakhs to
Mm-hmm.
attend like a gold ticket.
Right.
We had tickets worth 50,000, 2,000, right? So we had around 5,000 people who showed up for this event. So producers of this event reached out to me on LinkedIn, and they told me that they're doing this mega event in Mumbai, and they need some top tier coverages and podcasts. They want to be seen on television. They
Right.
want the media to be present at that event. They want some digital articles, all of that, and they
Mm-hmm.
need help with that, right? So producers of that event reached out to me, and then we had a great conversation. Everything was perfect, but then I would say the challenge that was that we agreed on everything, but then the price was again an issue. They did not want you to spend so much price. We gave them the proposal and everything. I think I've never shared this before on any podcast.
Right.
So exclusive information on yours. Right? So it wasn't a paid collaboration that we did. Okay, so but it was like a barter collaboration that we did. Okay,
Right.
so they took care of we took care of the entire PR for that event. We got them in press, multiple podcasts like Finance with Sharon. We got them press interviews, a lot of different things.
Nice.
And in return, what they helped us with, um, they gave me the entire access of the event, which was a diamond ticket access, which was worth close to 6 lakh rupees. Okay, they took care
Lovely.
of my accommodation, my food, um, all of the excess of the event,
Mm-hmm.
and I got like a very VIP treatment. I traveled 2 weeks with Robert Kiyosaki,
Super.
taking him around, all the places in Mumbai, right? So it was a great experience that I had. So probably that was a challenge. I couldn't convert them as a paid client, but I still count them as a client of ours because we did a lot of business together.
Mm-hmm.
So that eventually happened, and we got them great results. Like they got like 10 million plus impressions from the digital PR that we did for them, and it's really viral all over the internet.
Right.
The
Right.
clips with the podcast of Kiyosaki, it really went viral. And because of that, I'll tell you, like, I've got a lot of more clients because of the reputation that I've built, by working with Kiyosaki and the other people that were at the event, including Aman Gupta,
Yeah.
Ranveer Alabadia. There were a lot of other speakers that was, a part of this PR campaign that we did. So
Lovely.
because of that leverage, I would say it's easier for me to close now high ticket deals with,
Yeah.
other high level entrepreneurs who are based in the US,
Mm-hmm.
because now I have a lot of credibility.
Right. Right. Makes
Right.
sense.
So
Makes
yeah.
sense, Sahil. Sahil, actually, it's a very interesting conversation because, a lot of people take challenge in terms of, because they're starting up the new business. Is it
Mhm.
really worth taking a free or a barter kind of a deal? Will it
Mhm.
help in so many ways? Because sometimes the event or the brand actually wants to squeeze out the maximum potential out of a free
Mhm.
barter kind of a deal. But
Right.
it's the entrepreneur's gut feeling in terms of understanding whether this is a golden opportunity. What you
Right.
saw, very few people actually have that commitment to see,
Mhm.
this will convert for me an opportunity which probably I will never get in a lifetime.
Right.
It was a great access to you, and I thought it was a fabulous story in terms of helping you build up.
Mhm.
But more importantly, it's also you who converted that conversation into an opportunity to say, hey, because I'm doing this for this
Mhm.
as a barter deal, this is a
Mhm.
fabulous conversation where I have to give in my next one full week or 2 weeks traveling and making an effort from my end to
Right.
ensure that this is a golden ticket rather than just getting the
Mhm.
opportunity of being a part of this show. So
Exactly.
goes well as a great story in terms of how not just as an organization you have to be there. Sometimes you have to take one step ahead of saying, hey,
Mhm.
let me spend there as much as effort and energy there to convert
Mhm.
things to a bigger story. So kudos to that. And I think that's a great start for a lot of people to ponder about, saying when an opportunity knocks at your door, you better be a step ahead of that opportunity to make the most of
Right.
it. But like you said, this deal has converted into a lot of opportunities for you. I want to
Mhm.
understand, how do you measure the success of such collaborations after that, in terms of what metrics or overall impact for you as an individual or your brand or
Mhm.
even Level Up PR? How do you measure this success for others?
I would say if I talk about others, we measure a lot of different metrics. Okay. But again, I would say PR is more about building brand credibility, trust, and overall brand image in a
Yeah,
positive way. Okay. But if you're taking it, more of a salesy way, expecting sales,
yeah,
I would say it's a wrong expectation to have in a short term. Okay. But of course, when you have PR in place, you will see that a lot of people are more inclined to have conversation with you.
yeah,
You will see that you will have more booked calls. If you have a landing page where you have a lot of PR that you've seen in the media, it will convert better, right? More people, if you are into high ticket items, let's say you're in
yeah,
the B2B industry, like you will have some ease converting these deals,
yeah,
right? So a lot of numbers can be measured. The number of impressions that you get from these articles, the conversations that are more inclined to happen because of the brand that you have in place.
yeah.
Let's say if did not have a personal brand, I wouldn't even have this opportunity.
Correct,
Because they saw my personal brand on LinkedIn, I was posting content consistently. They
correct.
organically just searched for PR expert, and they
Yeah,
found me out,
yeah.
right? So that's how powerful PR is. right? If I did not have a personal brand, it wouldn't have been possible. So
Right.
you can measure a lot of things, impressions, the booked calls that you're getting, how much is getting converted before you had a brand, and now that you are a brand. You can measure that before you were being competing in the market, you were just being a commodity. Now you're a brand, you can charge premium pricing. We work at a very premium pricing compared to other agencies, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's a part of it is only because I have a personal brand, and Level Up PR is at a brand in itself, right? So that's how you're able to charge premium prices. You know,
Right.
why do you think like brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton are able to sell t-shirts like,
Yeah.
hundreds, thousands of dollars, just because of the brand reputation that they have. So
Right.
premium pricing could be one benefit. You can attract top talent. Top talent wants to work with a brand. Okay. Investors are more likely to invest in companies that have some hype in the media. So there are a lot of different things that I think if you look at a longevity, a long enough horizon, you will see the benefit of it. But if you're looking for some short term gain, I think PR is not the right thing. So have some patience and you'll see the results.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you made there. But how do you convince, say, an entrepreneur or even someone who's never done PR in their life to
Hmm.
even have patience and constantly pay you on a retainer basis? Because they look
Right.
at it from an ROI perspective and say, "Hey, I'm spending so much money on you on a monthly
Hmm.
basis. I'm not getting
Right.
enough articles." Typically, what a PR agency automatically faces, right? But when it
Right.
comes to personal branding, again, like what are the kind of conversations that
Mhm.
entrepreneurs do when they don't have patience? So, what is it like there?
I think it's all about education.
Yeah.
Some people are not educated enough and they want like short term gains. So I think the market that I work with in the US, like we work with some of the top level players, like, people who are making millions annually or more. Okay. These people actually understand the value of PR. These conversations are mostly, a battle, I would say, in India when we work with.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's, where like people want more of short term things. They're okay with the project based thing. They don't
Yeah.
want to see a long term thing. So for me, I think because of the type of target audience that we have chosen, it's more easier for us to, tell them that how valuable PR is.
Fair.
But even if someone is starting out short, I think if they believe in their product, you should always see it as a long term thing.
Hmm.
Like you should, if you're thinking of a short term gain, then I think probably you don't believe in yourself enough.
Yeah. Right. Right. Makes
Hmm.
sense. Great stuff there, Sahil. With that, we come to the end of our first round of questions. Time to
Okay.
pace up things. We move into our rapid fire round of questions.
Okay.
Some quick fires coming at you. Ready for this?
Yes. Yes. So I have to just choose, right?
Yes. No, you just have to answer it in this stipulated time frame. That's it.
Okay.
In 60 seconds, five personal tips that you would give for a better storytelling in public relations.
5 tips for a better storytelling in public relations. Um, I would say look at your, observe everything that you do in life. Okay. So let's say if you're going someone, you're talking to someone, like see what's happening, observe everything and you will create a lot of stories around it.
Right.
Okay. I have to think of more. Difficult question section. So
Right.
be authentic, I would say.
Yeah.
Like be authentic and genuine whenever you're creating stories. Like don't just fake it just
Hmm.
because of the sake of story. Be genuine and I can't think of more honestly.
Two great tips there. We should do with that. In 50 seconds, three trends in personal branding or how individuals can stay ahead of their curve to
Mhm.
maintain a relevance and influence in their field, according to you.
I would say social media is the
Hmm.
biggest one.
Hmm.
Like create content first of all, create
Right.
content around three topics. First could be who you are, like who you are as a person, what values do you have, create content around that. Then what you do, this could be more of your professional side. Let's
Yeah.
say if I'm into digital PR, I could create content around digital PR, how to get featured in the publications,
Hmm.
podcasts, why digital PR is helpful. So see what your niche is and create content around that. Okay. And the third one could be valuable pieces of content. This
Yeah.
could be anything, this could be either related to your industry or it could be outside of your industry as well. Okay.
Right.
Anything that helps other person, grow in life. Okay, so whatever you're learning, I would say keep sharing that content on your social media. So who you are, what you do, and some valuable pieces of content is something that you can begin with to
Hmm.
start building your personal brand. So
Lovely.
social media is going to be like the biggest pillar, I would say, for building your personal brand. First, you need to, own your social assets before you even pitch the press.
Hmm.
Once you're done with owning your social media, then you could explore other methods. Podcasts could be a great one because you get to be seen as an industry expert. Because now a third party is interviewing you. It's not just you who is sharing content on your social media channels. So it builds a lot more authority. Okay. Then another one could be digital PR, like press articles. So
Right.
if you're not maybe comfortable with camera, you can get featured in the articles. There are a lot of websites like Harrow,
Hmm.
Quoted, Cision, where these journalists who have queries around their specific topic, they're putting their queries and you can answer those queries and you might be featured in some great publications.
Lovely.
So do these three things. I think that would be a great starting point and it doesn't even cost much. You don't even need a PR firm just to start out.
Right. Right. Super. Okay. In
Mhm.
40 seconds, one tip for a brand or individual when it comes on focusing on PR activities and they say we don't need PR.
One tip who doesn't need PR.
For those who say they don't need PR.
I would say everybody needs PR. If
Hmm.
you are in a world, even in like even if you are an offline business or an online business, you need to understand that people are making their decisions based on the content that they're consuming on the internet. Like if someone is going to a place, let's say they're going to search your online reviews, they're going to search you up on Google, and if they see that you don't have any online presence and there is some other competitor who has online presence, who has better reviews,
Yeah.
they are going to choose them before you,
Right.
right? So if you don't want to do that, it's okay, don't do that. Only because if you don't want to make more money, you don't want more attention, you don't want more conversations,
Right.
in that case don't do digital PR. Be happy with where you are and eventually maybe disappearing from the market. That's what has happened from with people who have not taken their brand seriously.
Right.
But if you want to take it seriously and grow, then you need to do digital PR.
Okay. Fair enough. In 30 seconds, your favorite life quote for budding PR professionals.
Favorite life quote. Um, I would say my favorite life quote is not sure if it's about budding PR professionals. I think it's for everybody. If there's anything in your life that you want, there's a price that you need to pay for it, and you can 100% get it. I
Lovely.
don't think there's anything that you can't get if you really work hard for it. There
Correct.
might be a small factor for luck, but I would say success is a science. Okay.
Right.
And if you study from people who have made big in life, who have done something great, they have followed the same principles and same foundations. Even I have done the same things. I learned from a lot of different people, that I meet, right? And I try to inculcate that in my own life. That's why I've seen success. There's nothing rocket science that I've done, to be honest.
Right.
So everybody can do it and just be consistent, analyze what's working, analyze what's not working, and keep pivoting, and eventually you're going to make it.
Right. Superb. Okay. What's the most hilarious PR blunder that you have witnessed that wasn't yours?
PR blunder. Uh, Good question. I'm not able to remember any PR blunder that we did.
Okay. Not you did. Anyone else did. Like it's an example of saying that don't do PR like this.
Hmm. Good question. Let me think of it, Dakshin.
Okay. What's the most amazing PR example or case study that you have come across?
I would say we had a client actually. So he's been working with us for almost 4 years now.
Uh-huh.
And he has come from a point where he was negatively portrayed in the media and to now working with us where he is one of the biggest, property training company in United Kingdom,
Lovely.
right? So from getting all the negative media and from us taking over 4 years back, we did a lot of efforts in terms of PR. We got him multiple press outlets, multiple podcast interviews. He has sat with Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
such big personalities, and
Right.
he has a big social media brand. Okay, so of course there will be negative things, I would say, would happen, but what you need to do is you need to embrace it. Okay, you don't need to stop, you need to talk more about the positive things that you're doing, and eventually all the negativity will go away.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So share as much as possible, I would say, and be consistent and take control about your narrative. Because if you do not take control of your own personal narrative, then who is going to take control of it?
Right.
Right. So
Right.
take control of your narrative of your brand, and you will see a lot of success.
Right. Okay. And finally, in 10 seconds, which individual surprised you the most with their professionalism?
Which individual surprised me the most with their professionalism? Um, I was recently watching this, series just yesterday. Ryan Serhant.
Mhm.
He has recently launched a series called Owning Manhattan.
Mhm.
So I really love that guy, the type of personal brand that he is. Very authentic. The ethics that he has for running the business.
Yeah.
Like you should always do things right. You know, just because of making money, or just because you see short-term things, you shouldn't do anything which is unethical.
Right.
So I really liked that thing in him, and I think that was very professional that I learned from him, and that's something that we do at our own company as well.
Lovely.
I personally do it, but I think everybody, the team that I have, needs to inculcate all the habits that we have, because you need to understand that it's not just you, everybody that is associated with you. If I'm
Yeah.
sitting with someone, his image, if I'm sitting with him or her, that reflects my own thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to be sure of what people you are sitting with, and everybody needs to have some same sort of ethics. Otherwise, I think it doesn't make sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's
Makes sense.
going to affect your own image as well.
Yeah. Super. Super.
I,
Fabulous
I
stuff,
think I
sir.
took a little bit more than 10 seconds, 20,
It's
30. I did not
perfectly fine.
measure it.
Great stuff there, Sahil. Fabulous this is. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for sharing valuable tips on developing personal branding and all the PR stuff that you do. I
Mhm.
thoroughly enjoyed hosting you. I hope you had a good time too. Great,
You,
Sahil.
thank you so much, Dakshin, for having me. I really enjoyed the podcast, very natural, very organic. We had a lot of laughter.
Superb. I look forward to hosting you again sometime soon, Sahil, and look
I
forward to
actually look
meeting
forward
you.
to hosting you anytime
Superb.
soon.
Superb, Sahil. Be in touch and wishing you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for making time. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode. Don't forget to follow all the audio and video channels of the Deliberate Talks and Pixelated Egg Digital Ventures. Join me next week for a Table for One edition. Until then, be curious, be adventurous, and never stop learning. Cheers.